The opinions expressed on the following audio program are solely those of the host and the guests. Burner Podcast is an independently produced, not-for-profit show and is not associated with the Burning Man organization or its subsidiaries. The views expressed are not representative of the entire Burning Man community and are presented here for entertainment purposes only. In short, calm the fuck down. It's just a podcast.
Yeah, been there, done that. Got the t-shirt.
All right, let's see. All right, I'm going to get started here. All right, it's episode number 126, and it is 225 days till the man burns as of this recording. Honoraria applications were due this past week. So thousands of artists from around the world are vying for some of that Burning Man grant money. So we can dedicate a stupid amount of our lives to building and bringing a thing out there to the middle of nowhere to sweat in the dry heat and swing hammers and get our asses kicked out on an ancient lake bed that's been telling every living thing in no uncertain terms to fucking leave. Collecting all kinds of bruises and scars in the process, both physically and emotionally, as we desperately attempt to answer in earnest when asked by our non-burner friends and family the ever-stumping question, why?
Indeed, why?
If you're struggling for an answer, just tell them to listen to this podcast and maybe they'll get it after 20 episodes or so, or one trip to the playa. That pretty much will determine it. And today, I'm sitting with two amazing creators. I almost called you critters. So, two amazing creators. Go with critters.
I can do critter.
Two amazing creators who have been contributing to making Black Rock City what it is, that make us keep wanting to go back all the time, over and over. Destiny Lounge founder Dave Taylor. We're clapping for you. There's like clapping sounds in the background. Woo! And then with him, a returning champion from episode number 92, artist Debbie Cable. Woo! Yeah, I like that you threw your fist up for the viewers. You can't miss Destiny Lounge 3D. You can try, but the bright neon colors will demand your attention. And then you venture in and find yourself lost in a sea of swirling energy and design. And I've personally not had the experience or researched this, but I'm gonna go ahead and guess that Destiny Lounge is one of the most efficient hippie traps in all of Burning Man time.
Today, not run by hippies.
Definitely not a hippie.
Today, I can't wait to get into that topic. Today, we're going to get to know how the camp came to be, Dave's journey to and through Burning Man, how Debbie and Dave met, the camp's highs as well as their hardships. And then maybe you can play this episode for one of your non-burner friends and family. Most of the people you share this with will probably continue to think that you're insane, but
we
maybe
are insane.
You are, yeah, fact. But maybe one of them will join the insanity and be your MVP version in 2023. So bold claims is what we do in the intros of this show. Then after the interview with Debbie and Dave, we'll be treated to a gorgeous sunrise set by Canadian DJ duo, the Gold Dust Divas. It's a funky, soul, uplifting, yet booty-dropping sunrise set recorded on Thursday of Burning Man 2019 upon the Steely T mutant vehicle out by the trash fence.
It's where some of the best dancing happens.
Yeah. I hear there's usually DJ duos out there by the trash fence that people are looking for, but these ones were actually out there.
They were actually there. How daft.
Got my daft punch out good. Today's episode is entitled Destination Destiny Lounge. I go by Mr. Arash, even though nobody calls me Mr. Welcome to Burner Podcast.
On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rain. The first thing I met was the fly with the balls and the sky with no clouds. The heat was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you
Nice intro.
Yeah. I slaved over that for a good half an hour
Half an hour.
to really bring that together. I'm so excited to meet you, Dave. Debbie's been telling me that you need to be on this show since I first interviewed Debbie.
He's the important one.
I'm behind the scenes. In my entire life, I'm behind the scenes. That's what I do.
I'm dying to hear all about that because this show really is all like more about what's behind the scenes, like the stuff that really makes Burning Man happen, right? And it's also like in my own personal life energy, like life journey, it's kind of fortuitous that we're sitting together again, Debbie, because when I first interviewed you, it was like right when I was starting to transition from the kind of like day job structure to working as a professional artist and now, living in LA and like doing my own thing. And it's particularly interesting to like be able to sit with you again and to meet Dave and get to know more about like your camp and the energy on this connection came to be now as a burner living in Los Angeles and having like the experience in that world. It's a whole different
You fell for
game.
it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the trap.
Yeah. Man,
We got one now.
all kinds of traps. Gosh, yeah. So I kind of like to structure the interviews a little bit like an action movie. Like it kind of starts out with
this
like
a
a
good
hook. Yeah. So when I was doing my sort of like background research setting up for the interview, one of the first things that pops up is 2019. There was everything crashed on your way.
Start with that.
Yeah.
a day I'd like to forget, but it turned into quite an awesome experience and year for us. But
Yeah.
it was not without its ramifications. Yeah. So most of our camp infrastructure lives at my place in Joshua Tree. I'm on, right?
Pointed a little bit more towards. There you go.
Oh, okay. Okay. And of course now my phone rings
Yeah,
with
yeah.
spam.
Do you need to answer it? That's fine.
No, it's 90% of the calls I get are spam. Yeah. That's why I don't answer them. So yeah, we store everything out in Joshua Tree on my property out there. And so we've been there, everybody, 10, 12 people had been there the day before to load the truck. And 3 of us were left. I towing my trailer, which had one of our art pieces on it, the Temple of Enlightenment, and everything else in this 26-foot, rental truck. And about 40 minutes into our drive, right around sunset, headed north to Reno, I look in my rearview mirror and see the truck swinging back and forth on the road and going out of control.
Oh my gosh.
And watched it roll onto the shoulder and split open and spew everything across the side of the road. It was a very chilling, very scary moment. I kind of went into a bit of shock. The other guy who was with me, Austin, ran over to the truck, pulled the driver out. The driver was actually okay.
Oh wow.
Which nobody could believe.
Nobody could believe. He was a little bruised. He had I think he had a concussion and a little slight fracture of one of his vertebrae, but the cab was so full of his personal stuff that he really couldn't flop too far.
Yeah.
And it ended up with the driver's side door kind of dug into the dirt. So the door fell open and he kind of rolled out. And Austin grabbed him, pulled him out, and he was walking and able to move, and he was okay. Very, very shaken up.
Yeah.
Our camp, well, yeah, there's pictures online of what that looked like.
Yeah.
And it was a moment where I got on the phone. I don't remember what I did. I know
texted me the pictures.
I texted somebody I texted you the pictures.
Because I was in Washington at Base Canyon getting ready to do that show.
Wow.
And everything I had packed for 3 months was in the truck, and now it was spread across the desert.
All the black and yellow tubs split open and were strewn across the floor, all of everything. It was just so much stuff. All of our infrastructure, our canopy pole, everything was just in a huge pile. 3 generators. There was a lot.
The camp.
The camp was all of the cushions and it just everything was just.
And part of it glowed in the dark.
Yeah, it was very glowy. It was a very shiny pile of trash. But
that's one bit.
So
of safety,
first thing I did was say I posted on to. I messaged a couple of people, said I think we're done. I think we're done. I don't think we can do this. And the resounding answer I got was, "We're on our way. We're going to make this go." And I'm crushed because not only is it just everything we've just packed, this is stuff I've built for 12 years. Infrastructure of the camp is laying in a huge pile in the middle of the side of the road. And it was a terrible, terrible moment for us. I will tell you that day, within 2 hours, we're in Johnson Valley, if you know where that is. It's out north of Yucca Valley on the way towards the 395, which we go through back roads to get up to 395 up to Reno. So we're in the middle of nowhere. It was at dawn. Front truck tire blew. Yeah. And the truck was heavy, and didn't take a lot for it to be able to lose control of that truck. And so it was just scary. Within 2 hours, there were 10 or 12 people there. Not to mention the tow drivers and the CHP and the sheriffs who were there kind of veering people around it. We were actually pretty much completely off the road. There were just a couple of things that ended up in the road. That's actually a blessing, because if we had been on the road, they would have brought a Bobcat in and it just shoved it all out with the Bobcat to clear the highway. Yeah. And it turned out everything was on the shoulder.
How was the traffic?
There isn't much there, but the people just a lot of looky-loos, slow down. It's like, it's going by. I'm like, oh, look at that. Look at that, Marge. The hippies crashed.
Yeah. It was catastrophic.
It was catastrophic. Yeah. But we had two additional rental trucks showed up, courtesy of my company. They helped me out. Then they showed up. One we loaded with stuff that was not going to be able to go because it was just trashed, or the stuff that we no longer needed because other parts of it were trashed. And the other truck we loaded up with all the things that were salvageable. The people brought dozens of black and yellow bins, whatever they could find at the hardware store. We now have like 6 different kinds. And we just picked up all of this stuff out of the dirt, and we're stuffing it in bins and rolling everything into the new truck. We made a run to the dump to dump a bunch of stuff, which is the landfill was about 20 miles back. And then we ended up back at my house that night with this truck now loaded more or less with our camp. Yeah. Dumped a couple of more broken things off in my driveway. And the next morning, with a different person driving, our driver backed out.
He was in the hospital.
He was actually was back. He went to the hospital of emergency, and he came back to get his stuff that afternoon while we were cleaning up. And his daughter showed up and took him home. But he was not going to go this year. But we've had a new friend who was going to go later in the week, but she was available, lived in Joshua Tree, still lives in Joshua Tree, Liesel. And she hopped in and said, I'll drive the truck. I've driven the truck many times. It's like, really? You just saw this mess you helped clean up. You want to drive this truck? Yeah. And so the next morning we headed off one more time. Yeah. We got to just north of... Not Bishop. What's the other one? Bridgeport. Just north of Bridgeport, and the new truck starts to choke going up a hill.
Oh my gosh!
Overheating. So we're a day and a half late now. Yeah. So the truck is overheating on the hill out of Bridgeport. We limped the thing into Reno. She just basically said, "You guys go ahead, get back where you're going in my car, my trailer. I'll follow you in. I'll let it cool off. I'll follow. I'll let it cool. I'll drive. I'll let it cool. I'll drive." And she got there about 2 hours after us. We found that there's a Penske place in Reno, one of their main service centers. They said, "Show up at 6:00 in the morning, and we'll get it fixed for you." This was the person on the phone. And of course, when I showed up at 6:00 in the morning the next day, they laughed at me and said, the waiting list. I was like, and ultimately the service manager there was pretty cool, and he got
all you had to do is show him the picture of the truck on all the shit.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I did. I gave him a little history, and he
That's
said,
how I got paid for Base Canyon.
Yeah,
is showing him the pictures of the truck.
Yeah.
Wow.
They hadn't paid me yet.
So ultimately what happened was they ordered the part from the warehouse down across town that is their parts wholesaler on a rush basis. Yeah. Okay. Their version of rush is not my version of rush. My version of rush is it shows up in a couple of hours. It was about 4 or 5 o'clock that day now. We've just been kicking out. We actually rented a hotel. We were so exhausted. We rented a hotel and crashed for like 2 or 3 hours waiting for them to tell us they had the part and they were putting it in. It was the fan clutch had gone out. So the fan was not kicking in, not cooling the engine. So we finally went back over there around 5 and said, "So what's happening?" The service manager had driven over to the warehouse I had offered to go at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll go get it. And said, no, it doesn't work that way. I wish I could send you over there.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way. This has to be our people. Have to. And I said, okay, fine. So he actually went over, got the part. It took them a half an hour to put it in. Done. Fixed. Truck is done. 5:30, 6 o'clock. Truck's ready. Okay. We're on the road. From Reno to Burning Man. We get to like 15, 17 miles east. Truck's overheating again. Truck is overheating again. And so we turned around. We went back to the service center. The guys looked at it and they said, this truck is really heavy. Just go for it. It'll be okay. And as a matter of fact, after we turned around and we're no longer going up that slow grade, it actually had cooled off again. So we turned around and we went back to Burning Man. Now it's 7:30 p.m. Dark. It's getting dark as we leave Reno the second time, and we went, and the truck was okay, and so we headed up into Empire where we stopped and go to Gerlach, and we hit gate at 10 o'clock.
Wow.
Gate was backed up forever.
Yeah.
It's Friday night now. Normally we would be there first thing Thursday morning.
Usually, yeah.
Usually Thursday morning. It is now Friday night or Saturday night. I've lost track. Yeah, I know. You were doing your show. So crash was Wednesday. We drove up Thursday. Had the problems. So yeah, Friday night, almost midnight, we get in. We're supposed to have art installation in, everything done by Sunday evening.
Wow.
I get in. We roll into camp at 3 a.m. by the time we got through gate, over to 3 o'clock in G, and we got to the truck. The entire group that's already there, waiting for us because they've been there for 2 days. Yeah. It's a couple of RVs. It wasn't desolate. They had stuff, but it was the bulk of the lounge is in the truck, so it's basically the whole front of the camp is pretty much cleared out. There's just campers around the back,
right?
Including I have the main tent shade structure for all the folks in tents. To get out of the truck, and I'm enveloped in a big cinnamon roll hug for about 5 minutes. I was in tears. I was such a mess. It was just a horrible time. It was just horrible.
I couldn't be there.
It was just horrible. And they said, "You're going to bed. You're going to go lay on that cot over there while we build the tent shade structure so we can all set up our tents and go to sleep for a while." I'm like, but no buts. You go over there late. They had me all set, and I went and I was out. They had to wake me up a couple times to say, "Where's this or where's that?"
Oh god!
When I got up in the morning, about half of our tent shade was built, and they were all set up, and they were sleeping. And
we have an amazing crew.
They have an amazing crew. By the end of Saturday, the bulk of the camp was done. All the entire lounge that normally is like a 2.5 day build was pretty much built. We spent Sunday I went and built the temple because I had to deal with the artery because everything was supposed to be done by 6 o'clock Sunday night. Yeah. So I had to deal with the artery Sunday morning to build the temple in the middle of the plaza. Spent the better part of the day building that with like four or five people, and everybody else was continuing on to decorate the camp and get it going. We were ready by 6:30 that night. We had a fully functioning theme camp. Talk to God, which is where the shepherds have talked to God, or we might be this year again. We're not sure yet.
Wow.
And the temple, and the full 3D lounge with all of everything else, and we were ready. And people were coming by and saying, "Didn't I see a picture of your truck like on the side
showed
of
up like rock stars.
Yeah, well, don't look
like,
too.
What?
Don't
happened?
look too.
How are you here?
Don't look too close at the ends of some of the end of the sign over the front of the camp is completely broken off because it just got tossed.
It was the miracle. The miracle.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, we everything was still. Enough of the camp existed. We lost something. We lost our viewing deck because all the scaffold was destroyed. We lost our shower platform, which we cock-knocked with pallets and some other stuff from out of Reno.
All the art, nothing.
Yeah.
Everything was fine.
All of her rolls,
all squishy.
It was all rolls of stuff on tubes, and it was with the carpet, and it was all kind of a big mushed pile on the ground, but it was fine.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was crazy. So yeah, that's how 2019 started, and it turned out to be one of our best burns ever.
Wow. I'm really, really excited to come back to that and hear how that was the case. How many campers currently?
35 or so. We usually target between 30 and 40.
Yeah, it's a good number.
I don't want to get much past. We've never been more than 40 on paper before the
But
burn.
we do the work of 80.
Yeah, on paper before the burn, we've had as many as 42 or 43, but often there's always been attrition where we don't really end up with that many. I think 37 or 8 is our high number.
Yeah.
There's some kind of a threshold you hit at 40 where it just you lose control. Too many. It gets factional and people. It just becomes an us and them thing where there's this
Squirrel
group and that
factor.
group. Yeah, there's just it breaks into different groups and it's not good.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a culture shift. I can tell you from years of interviewing camp leads on this podcast that around that number, usually a lot of times, like I've heard the story so many times where somebody discovers Burning Man. They say next year we're doing a camp, and then like they go way over their number and they have a miserable experience, and then they bring it back down to like 40 or 50 and say it's the best experience we ever had.
Yeah, we have no intention of becoming a 200-person camp.
Yeah.
Not for us. We like our number between 30 and 40.
Right. Well, let's go back to the beginning of your journey with Burning Man to kind of see how you came here. What were you doing before your first burn? What was going on in your life?
Well, I work in the entertainment business. I work for a company that we stage television shows, and we also have a theatrical division, and all of those things that died 1.5 years, 2 years ago at the beginning of the pandemic. That's what we do. We also have an installation group that stays busy, that did more permanent installation stuff. So I'm one of the execs with the company. I'm like the one who is the nuts and bolts guy.
Right. So you said 12 years Destiny Lounge has been around?
2007 was our first year.
Okay.
So we've
What is that in math?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought this would have been our 14th year. This will be our 14th year as a camp.
Okay. So where was Dave in the early 2000s?
The 2000s, just basically I was a workaholic and doing what I do in the entertainment biz and
Television.
and didn't really have a creative outlet per se, which I really didn't know I was missing until my business partner, who was a burner, was getting ready during 2006. They were getting ready to go to the burn. And I came back from an event that's like 3-week event. I was in the shop getting all the paperwork done, and they're like building a bar and gathering pallets of water. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? So we're getting ready to go to Burning Man. And I'm like, Burning Man? Naked hippies in the desert? And he's like, no, it's not really what that is.
That's what they want you to think.
You should go. Like, and so I called up a buddy of mine who had been when he was a kid because his dad had taken him. My buddy Eric, and I said, "Do you want to go to Burning Man for like a week?" And he's like, "Sure, I'm open." And I was done with my project. I had a nice big gap in my calendar for a couple of weeks. I'm like, okay. So we went. We kind of knew. I went and bought a couple of cheap bikes. I put together a couple of costumes. So it was, I look at some pictures and stuff. Say, oh yeah, people dress up and they dress funny. And well, let's go check this thing out. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And I'll go say then I can say I've done it. So we showed up at Burning Man, 2006. Turned out that we were part of a theme camp. I had no idea. We were just invited to join. There wasn't really a vetting process per se. My business partner said, come camp with us. Okay. Yeah. We were on 3 O'Clock Plaza at a camp called the Bubble Bar, which only existed for a couple of years. But it was a bar. Part of the story, the funny part of this is that I'm completely sober and have been for a long time. But our camp is a bar camp, serving daily specials and, mimosas one day. And
how long you been sober?
35 and a half years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So proud.
Today,
So proud.
Today, and can I say the date? Today is January 22nd. The app told me I have 13,001 days today.
Wow, that is amazing.
I'm not one of those anonymous people. I don't have any problem people knowing that I'm in a program, that I've been sober a long time. I help people as much as I can. There's nobody in my life that matters to that I'm sober. That it's a secret. It's a secret. No, I don't go. I go to meetings all the time. I'm very happy to be sober. It's not a contest. 13,000 days just means I've been sober a long time. Doesn't mean I'm winning over the guy who's got 3 days. It doesn't matter.
For sure.
I'm as close to my next binge as they are. If I decide tomorrow I'm going to go get loaded, then, it's all bets are off.
Yeah.
But I don't do that. So each day I stay sober.
But there is like a pleasure reward of knowing how long like you've kept the number going.
I shared the meeting last night. I held a little thing up to the screen for the Zoom meeting I was in last night. I said, I just realized today I have 13,000 days. Yay! They all cheered. I said, you know what? It doesn't really mean anything to any of you, but to me, it makes me really, really happy to know that I've been able to do that for this long.
Makes me really, really happy.
Yeah,
So it's pretty cool.
incredible.
So
I haven't done anything that long.
yeah.
Wait, hold on. How long has it been there? I've been breathing, but that's like an auto mechanism response to my body.
I'm old too. I'm old. So we.
He's virile.
Do you,
Where was I? So in 2006, I'm part of a bar. My buddy and I hop on our bikes, so we just start. We didn't know what we had to commit to being clean up, or there was nothing. There was no camp commitment list or anything like that. So we were just kind of there and hanging out. We used to just take our bikes out and start riding around. And I'm like, what was that? What's that over there? Oh my! And it was like my eyes were so opened by this experience. That was the year of the. It's called the Belgian Waffle. I think it was Message from the Future was the official name of it, and it was this massive structure out in Deep Playa. That was just a bunch of guys. I think they were Swedish.
They're from Belgium. That's why it was.
And they brought in
Belgium.
flatbeds of unusable 2x3 lumber. Flatbeds full of it. The trucks.
400,000
linear board feet. Of 2x3s, and they just started staple gunning them together, and they made this incredibly huge. Looked like something made out of potato sticks.
Yeah.
This incredible structure, and eventually it was a DJ. There was a DJ stand in it. It was a nighttime rave, and they never stopped building it. It kept growing over the course of the week. But we were seeing this thing on the horizon, and so what is that over there? I don't know. Well, let's go check it out. We just kept getting closer, and it kept getting bigger, and it kept getting bigger, and it kept getting bigger, and we're like, what is this thing? And it was like these little light bulbs are going off in my head. This is incredible. The people just come out here. There people just come out here and do these crazy things. I saw like the single up until the next year when we had Crude Awakenings, I saw the single largest explosion ever seen. We at one point we're riding our bikes across the desert, and there was a fenced off area with trash fence, and in the middle of it was a huge round gas tank. And I'm like, that's weird. And the next day somebody said they're going to make this huge explosion out in Deep Playa. Let's go see it. I know where that's going to be. And sure enough, it was, and these two twin explosions went off from these two tanks with, 2,000 people gathered around just cheering it on. And it's like, this is nuts.
It was like 20,000 people.
Whatever.
Yeah. And your eyebrows were singed.
Yeah.
And nobody knew if they
this
were
is not
going to
crude.
make it.
This is not Crude Awakening. I'm talking about 2006. This is before Crude Awakening.
Oh, okay.
That's a completely different story.
Yep.
It was just like all of these creative art cars and these camps and just sculptures, and it was whatever you wanted it to be. And people were walking around naked, much more so than they do now. Not me, but they do. And just in all these amazing costumes, these huge bug insect costumes, and wizards and fairies and unicorns, and people just made these. The creativity was through the roof, and I had an amazing time that I didn't really expect to have. I didn't really know what my expectations were. I'm not sure I really had them, but
that's the best way to go.
But I was blown away. Yeah. And so as we're tearing the camp down a week later, I'm like, what are we going to do next year? And they're all like, well, we're all going to go to the beach next year. We're kind of done. They've been doing it for like 10 years. The whole camp, except Eric and me. Like, wait, we just got here. We just got here. What are we going to do next year? I don't know. You can be Bubble Bar again. You can be the Bubble Bar again. Well, I'll help you set it up. I'm like, I don't want to be a bar. Yeah. So we went back. We went back to LA, back to our jobs and our lives, completely like whacked out, changed in our heads because, just this.
Because it does
this creative energy that I now have, like, I see these creative things that we can do. So the next year was the Green Man.
I'm sorry, before you get to that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you some questions about that transition in your consciousness.
Okay.
A lot of when I interviewed Debbie, there was a lot of our conversation was about like dissecting, like there's art and creativity, and then there's like the business of creation and art, right? So it's kind of interesting. Like you're working in television and film, and you've been doing it for so many years. Like, what drew you to this industry? If it wasn't the creativity part of it for you,
What, the entertainment industry? Doing shows.
Yeah.
I've been doing shows since I was like 14. And that's really the only career I know, is actually being behind the scenes and putting on shows for people.
What were you doing when you were 14?
In theater in high school.
Okay.
I started with, I had an incredible drama instructor in high school, Rod Bayshore, who took, my father passed away when I was an early teen. And so I kind of missing a father figure in my life. And not that Rod tried to be my father,
Right.
but he was this male figure, incredibly brilliant, creative, had a way of dealing with teenage kids in school. And the theater department in Indio High, where I grew up, I grew up in Palm Desert, went to Indio High. There was no Palm Desert High then. Was this magical place. It was just this magical space where we created these incredible shows in a converted auto shop. It was a 160 seat auto shop, 3/4 thrust stage. And I'd started seeing shows there when my sister was in high school. We'd go see them. So so when I was like 9 or 10, I would be going to see shows in this theater, and it was magical. This whole vibe that had been created there. And then we saw, Androcles and the Lion and the Wizard of Oz and all these shows being done by high school students. Of course, at that time, they were just big kids. They were almost adults. Yeah. But as we got closer to being in high school, I knew I wanted to get involved in that. I really liked the illusion part of it, where you're creating this whole vibe, this illusion. And so when I got into high school, I found myself pushed. Even my freshman year, I ended up halfway through the year, ended up in the actual theater, as opposed with the drama one instructor who was in a classroom somewhere. I actually jumped in and started working on shows right at the end of my freshman year. And by the time I was a junior, I was the stage manager and running the theater as the head student guy, and building the sets, and learned so much from that man. And I was in a few shows. I started in a few shows or was in them at least. So I have a few acting chops too, which I do enjoy acting. I haven't done much lately, but I mean, it's mostly I like to be behind the scenes. And there's something about feeling like the crowd is getting it, and you hear the cheering, and it gets little hackles up your spine. Certain pieces of music will do that to me too, where you get to the really big passage at the end, and there's a song called "Awaken" by Yes, and I can still it's the one I listen to as I'm driving on the playa every year. It's a 17-minute song, and I put it on when I'm leaving Gerlach. And when I get to the playa, it's just getting to the climax, and it sends chills down my spine. And that's the kind of feeling you get when you're working on a successful show. They're not all that way. I mean, I've worked in corporate theater for years too, so sometimes it's just paying the bills. But
did it feel I really like this topic. Did it feel like creativity to you when you were in high school? What you were doing, or was it like?
There's definitely a creative outlet. We did a show called Scapino, which is it's kind of a comedy about this scamp, Italian gigolo person. But the set, I was allowed to design the set for it, which is, he had never allowed anybody to design the set. So yeah, there was a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
And I gave him some sketches, and he was like, "This is good. We're going to build this." And he gave me a lot of guidance. Like, well, we need a window here. Because we have scenes between the room and the window, and there's things that he helped me, but in terms of the treatment of it, and like where the dock went, where the boat was, and there's a huge amount of creativity, and then we get to build it. It's one thing to draw a picture, but then you have to build it and make it work.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies to Burning Man.
You're a great engineer. Sure.
I create these things in my head, and then I put them on paper and computer screen these days, and then
look good in CAD.
And then I worked in CAD, and then I build them. So there's a massive amount of creativity in that, and then in our business, a lot of it I'm executing other people's visions. Right. I'm a provider of a service. Mostly what we do is a large video screens that are part of the set. But, so I'm providing other people's visions. I'm servicing that. But it still feels good when it looks right. Yeah. What I found in Burning Man is it's nobody else's vision. It's our vision. And so it can be whatever we want it to be. I'm not answering to a producer. We are the producers. Yeah. And that's the part that opened the doors for me, was to finally actually have an outlet for the creative ideas we have. I can do what I want. I could make a big silly tunnel that turns and people walk through it and flip out, and I can do that. I can build this huge arcade game called The Fling of Destiny. That was our first year.
I missed the fling. I
The
wasn't
Fling. I never saw The Fling.
Well,
There's,
it sounds like, and please correct me if I'm not analyzing this correctly. It kind of sounds like you professionally went down the path of doing for others what your teacher did for you, which is like creating a space for you to create, and you kind of did that professionally for years and years, and then Burning Man reminded you that, kind of brought you back to that kid mode again.
Like I said, all I really know as a career is to create the illusions that we do in the show business.
Yeah.
The magic of Hollywood is a quote that I never made that it's attributed to me, but it's true. It's the magic of Hollywood. Yeah. But it's, we are creating an illusion. We all know what it looks like behind the set. It's not pretty. Out front, it's gorgeous. And the people are singing and there's dancing, and it's like, we know that she's a jerk and he's an asshole, and I really don't know how to sing that song, but it's okay. The people in the audience, they love it. And that's the part that works. It's just a huge illusion. Mm-hmm. We know all the backstory. We know how it was all put together. We know where the bodies are buried. But the illusion is that nobody else does.
Right.
And so
it seems like that's part of and I'm observing this quite a bit, especially now, like living in LA and spending a lot more time around the film industry. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a lot of those who are I'm very much in work mode, right? And then, and I feel like this is a story like what you're describing. It's particularly interesting to me because I'm observing it right now, like this sense of like almost losing some of your creativity because it's turned into such a career.
It is, yeah. Well, it's jaded. Who, me?
You very jaded.
Yes,
Oh
I
my God.
am. I am exceptionally jaded. I don't watch any television.
Yeah.
I very rarely go to movies. And why? Because I can't look at it without tearing it apart.
Yeah.
All I do is I look at the lighting. I look at.
We go to the theater.
I look
and
at
he
what's
makes me
real, what's
cry.
VR, what's XR, what have we done here? That was
know
a
what
great
you
CG. That's a really great tracking shot. That's kind of cool. And or I'll laugh through the entire thing, which is not supposed to be a comedy because it's. So when you were exposed to this stuff, it's hard for me to distance myself from the fact that it's a production. And so I have a huge TV on my wall that is not on, from a prior life. But
it's a hell of a balancing act. It's so funny as you're telling the story. It's reminding me, I don't know, 13 years ago. I used to co-host a hip hop podcast, and we interviewed a famous porn star couple, and they were describing how like they can't watch porn because what they start to trigger is like the smell of the set.
yeah,
and, like, the sounds. Yeah, all
smells
kinds
like
of stuff
lube
that's
and shit.
happening.
Have a lovely day.
Interesting analogy. Everybody.
They're just like, well, it's the thing of like, to the viewer, like we are lost in the magic, but like you're always like looking for like, I want to go back to that feeling of being able to experience the magic. And Burning Man, for a lot of folks, in my experience interviewing burners, like there is this common thread of this experience that you're describing. Like, oh yeah, like this is exciting again.
I can make it whatever I want it to be.
Yeah.
I don't have to fill some producer's vision of what it is.
Yeah.
We come up with a concept for the camp. In the early days, I came up with a concept for the camp. I always say I'm open to other ideas, and it seems to end up being my ideas most of the time. But it's not because I'm not asking people to throw things in. But Debbie brought her whole new. We'll get into Debbie's stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't even really talked about the camp yet.
We're gonna get to chapter Debbie.
Debbie and I didn't even know each other when I started this. We met later on. But our first year at Destiny Lounge, we went back and we had a couple. We found a bunch of friends.
I'm sorry. Was that 2007?
2006 going into 7.
Okay. What made you want to call it Destiny Lounge?
The name of the camp, or the name of the theme was Green Man.
Green Man. Okay.
The year the man burned twice.
That was crazy.
The year the man burned twice. The Green Man.
Is that when
It was
somebody set
all
on
about
fire?
ecological friendliness, and so we looked at what can we do that kind of ties to that theme. I want to do something that's interactive. I don't want to be a bar. What if we served like tea and lemonade or something? But we need more than that. What do we need? What if we built some kind of like a big thing that people could play, like a big game? And what could it be? And so I started thinking it was a combination of skee ball and it looked like a big pinball machine. It was like a skee ball with a launcher. I called it the Cataflinger. And I used these balls that looked like little Earths. I found them at a Montessori supply store. They were actually like pool balls. The ones you throw around the pool, they were printed as globes. Yeah. And you flung the Earth towards its destiny.
Oh, okay.
And so we called it the Fling of Destiny. We built it in 2 weeks in my friend's parking lot with much planning, lots of drawings. But when it came time to build it, it was a 2 to 3 week crunch of building this thing. Prototypes of the Cataflinger, I had like 3, and we finally came up with one. Over a course of a few months, we actually did Cataflinger prototypes. And my friend built it, and it's still sitting in my yard in Joshua Tree. The Fling of Destiny does not exist any longer, but it was fun. And so it was called the Fling of Destiny. And where does the Fling of Destiny live? It lives in the Destiny Lounge. Because that's really all we had to offer was some couches, tea and lemonade, and the Fling of Destiny. And we just had black sidewalls. We had a lot of shade. We had carpet. We had music. We had a DJ at that time who played great music. We had some really cool dance parties our first year there. And we were off. The Fling of Destiny was it never achieved its full greatness. It was one of those things where you get to the playa, and there were a lot of electronics involved. And we just got to a point where it's good enough. It makes sounds. You launch the ball, and I had a voiceover artist who I worked with before, paid him his simple rate for a simple voiceover session. He had a blast because he's got to say things. Oh, too bad. Can we get someone in here who knows what the fuck they're doing? He was having a blast. I still have all of his takes. He's done the Olympics. He's done sports. You know his voice. I'm not going to name him because I don't want to tie him into this. But he was just actually I will. Steve Kamer. He's still out there doing this stuff, and he did a show with us where he was the voiceover. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. I'm like, I need that voice. I need that ear. I need that voice. That's the voice. It was hysterical. And then the thing
So
had
what
all,
a treat for people having that.
and when the ball
experience,
when it gutter balled, it went womp womp womp. It did it, and the 5 targets were Armageddon, Global Meltdown, Next Ice Age, and Meteor Strike. And in the center was a very hard to hit target called Utopia. And the birds would sing and chirp, and everybody would happen. But it triggered sound effects. They had optical eyes on all of the targets, and it triggered different things based on where the ball went. And it had a ball return like a bowling alley. The balls come out at your feet, and you loaded the thing and you launch it. And that was our first real crazy thing. But see, this is Burning Man. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
If it does, it opened up this creative side of me that I didn't know was plugged, because suddenly I can just draw something and then I can actually build it. The next year I built Rock Your Balls for 2008. 2007,
A classic.
2007 we were on the corner of 3 o'clock and A. In 2008 we were on the opposite corner of 3 o'clock and A. In 2008, I had Rock Your Balls. Rock Your Balls is like, you remember the little game, the little labyrinth game with the handles that you tip the table to try to keep the ball from falling into the holes?
Yeah.
Okay, it was going to start out as a big one of those, like an 8 by 10 foot table that was one person moving handles to rock the table and keep the balls out of the holes. And my friend, fellow camper, Jim, said to me, that's going to be kind of boring for people to watch. What if you made it a 2-player thing? Ooh, the wheels started spinning. So I went back to the drawing board and drew a maze and re-engineered it so that there were platforms facing each other, and it was off. 3 balls on the table, and you try to get the balls into the holes of your color. There were 8 holes, 4 red and 4 blue holes. So one platform was blue, one platform was red, and you basically wrestled the table with handles were locked together on each platform. So you wrestled each other.
Very physical game.
Very physical. I could never play it. It was too much for me. I don't have the physical skills, but there are a lot of people who can. And Rock Your Balls was born, and it went through some mechanical improvement. We discovered you hit the playa within 2 hours. The handles had been bent by a fucking couple of football players who decided they wanted to put all their all into it, and they actually bent the handles over.
They have very good rivalry.
But my friends over at Terminal City, what's his name? He had a welder, and he scabbed on some metal and he fixed it for us, and we had it up and running again within not too long. It's Burning Man. People will help you. They'll fix
That's the
things.
thing about it, the playa is you could be screwed and find the weirdest thing, and it is out there.
It's out there.
Yeah.
So
I've been on builds where literally like we bet on that. I'm like, this thing that we can't figure out. I say we just like call it. It's good enough for Burning Man. Let's get out there.
The car shish kebab when we were on the corner of Esplanade.
I give it 3 days.
3 days, they'll be shut down. Absolutely. And it was. It was shut down.
Within 3 days?
Somebody fell. It was in like 2 or 3 days. It was shut down.
Oh yeah.
Car Kebab was the DPW art piece, like with all the cars.
The barbecue. Oh,
Yeah.
It wasn't DPW. It was
thought it
an
was
artist who
It
did
could've
that.
Oh, was it?
It was an artist, I thought. Yeah, it was
They could be both.
They could be both. It is true. So the second year, 2008, which
I was so certain of that, but now I'm doubting it. So
that was the
excuse
American
me,
dream.
listeners.
2008 was the American dream. We stopped paying attention to themes about that time. It's like, oh, great. If we tie into it, we tie into it. If not, we don't. So we had Rock Your Balls and the Fling of Destiny, but the Fling never really. It only made 2 appearances, the first year and the second year. And the second year, I never got the electronics to work, so it was just shoot the ball.
Now
at
it's
the
just
top.
art.
It was just there.
How many people camping with you at that time?
Like 25.
Okay,
I think about
it's like
25.
growing little by little.
Growing little by little, and we've been between 25. Well, we weren't always a placed theme camp. We took some off years.
Okay.
So 2008 was the year of Rock Your Balls,
Right.
and the Fling, and that was a lot trying to build all of that with just a small crew. We also
that's
we
what
also
Dave
brought
does.
a piano.
Yeah.
A piano which still lives in my house in Josh Street. It's totally not usable, but yeah, piano was not a good idea for us. But there it was. As it immediately went out of tune. It was like I couldn't touch it. I played the piano, but I couldn't touch it because it was so far out of tune. Yeah.
It's interesting too, because I guess the other thing that I'm picking up is that it sounds like you're so used to running crews that wasn't. Like that was already kind of a forlorn thing. Like you were already used to it.
There have been mutinies.
Those are inevitable.
I've chilled. I've chilled a lot. I've learned how to not try to drive the Burning Man folks like a show crew, and it took some time. I will be honest. I am a very much an alpha OCD guy, and I want everything to be the way I want it,
And you're a badass professional like that.
And I'm a perfectionist, so I want it to. The carpet's got to be tacked down right. This has got to be that way. It's got to be done right. And I'm a taskmaster. So yeah, I've burned out more than one person in the course. They haven't come back because it's just a lot of work. Camp is a lot of work. And I say that coming right into the thing. You got to know building a camp like we do is a lot of work. And there aren't that many of us. So if you're going to join us,
Guess what?
we need you to commit to being actually a part of the camp, because it's not just, here I'm Burning Man. I'll be back tomorrow. We've had a few of those. We tend to shy away from the sparkle ponies as much as possible.
How long would you say, like, how long did it take for you on this like Burning Man journey to have that revelation and kind of find that like happy point between the two extremes?
Several
if you
years.
found it.
Several years. It really had taken me. It's been a slow and gradual releasing and learning how not to try to drive people too hard. I'd say I killed people in 2018 on the year in the Esplanade. I was much better by then, but our last year in the Esplanade 18 was it was an arduous year. Esplanade corner of 3
That
o'clock.
was my favorite year.
3 o'clock in Esplanade, and it was our best camp ever, and it was beautiful, and it was a huge amount of work because we can get to that. But we had to start doing bike management.
Okay.
We hadn't planned on that.
Yeah.
The Vortex was built in 15, and we haven't talked about the Vortex yet. It's yet another. There have been 5 art installations that are part of the camp, and 6 if you count the temple, that were things that happened. So the first one was Fling of Destiny, which was a 2-year appearance. Then the Rock Your Balls, actually I think made it to the playa 7 times. 8, 9, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17. It didn't come in 18, did it? We didn't have it on the Esplanade, did we? No, we had God. We had God in the corner. Yeah. No. Yeah. So yeah, it was like 7 years that Rock Your Balls made it out there, and I had to beef it up several times to keep it intact. Now it's sitting on a stand in my yard rotting in Joshua Tree because I got nowhere else to put it. It almost went into the pinball museum, but that fell through and now they went out of business. So there was in Banning there was a pinball
Because
museum.
they didn't get Rock Your Ball.
So there was that one. In 2009, we were prepping for our camp. We were doing a work weekend in Joshua Tree. We just figured we'd get another nice placement somewhere along 3 o'clock. We'd be great. And I got a call from Shadow, one of the placers. And she's like, "We're looking at your camp. We'd like to put you on the corner of 3 o'clock in Esplanade." Eh? Eh? 3 o'clock in Esplanade? Can we call you back in about 10 minutes? I had like 10 of our group there.
Yeah.
It was the key players, all the workers, all the worker bees were there. And I'm like, "Can I call you back in like 10 minutes? She said, "Sure." Yeah, think about it. I was like,
Quick
okay.
huddle.
What do you think? Yeah, go do. All right. You know what this means, right? This means 24/7 people in our camp. So we did 3 o'clock in Esplanade, 2009. One of our best years ever. I met some amazing people. Our camp next door, Dota. We love those people. They're still great friends of mine. One of our campers, Yay, was a Dota refugee because they stopped coming, and she's been with us ever since. Even when they came back, she stayed with us. So we're happy about that. But
We're pretty plush.
yeah, she's the one who taught me how to chill. She's one. She came over to say hi. We're setting up. It's at night. We're crazy setting up. I get out of the truck. 2009. We're at 3 o'clock in Esplanade. It's nothing. There's nothing there. There's a street light and an empty street. And I get out of the truck, and within 10 minutes, I have my 50-foot, 100-foot tape measure out. I'm laying out the camp. Everybody else is just getting there, saying, "Hey, check that out. I'm gonna go to the camp. I'll be back." And I'm marking out the camp. Yeah. This is back in Dave was kind of a nut day. I know I'm talking a lot. Sorry. Nobody ever asked me this stuff. It's a fun story, but so we're in the middle of setting up, laying out the carpet, building the canopies, and this nearly naked woman walks over. She's topless. She's got really long, beautiful colored hair with beads and stuff in it, and she's just wearing like a little skirt, and she's barefoot. And she walks over with a tray of snacks, and I'm like, "What?" "I'm your neighbor. I'm I'm next door. It's thought you guys might little fluffing." It's like, okay, and I'm immediately okay. That's great. Fluff the crew. That's great. I love that. And I go back to what I was doing. And she said, "No. You need a hug." I'm like, "What? I'm busy. I'm really busy." And she's like, "No. You need to stop, and you need a hug, and you need some fluffing." Okay, all right. So she grabs me and I give her a quick, dude hug, slap on the back, no, that's not a hug. And she hugged me. We hugged for I think about a minute, and I felt myself melt into this amazing woman. I felt myself just kind of give way, and all this tension kind of started washing away from me. And I think that's at the point where I started realizing I needed to release some of this control jerk energy that I still have. But it was, she said, now that was a hug. Now you can go back to do your thing, but just chill a little bit. I've been watching you guys, and you are out of your mind in control. Okay, so put this here. That goes here. Those go there. This, oh no, 3 feet to the, that kind of crap. That's me.
The world needs more of those.
And we had that year was a spectacular year. We had Rock Your Balls. We had. That was the second year the fling showed up. In 2008, we brought the fling. It stayed in the truck. I built the canopy for it and everything. It never came out of the truck. We were just done.
That's Burning Man in a nutshell.
In 2009, we set the
bring
fling
it all
up.
out there and fuck it.
In 2009, we set the fling up. Couldn't get the electronics to work. Yeah. We were on Esplanade. We didn't care. People still played it. And then we had Rock Your Balls and an incredibly comfortable lounge with tea and lemonade. No 3D art. We were blacklight, but we didn't have any art. We just, blacklight was just kind of mood.
So what year did the two of you meet?
We met at We met in 2009 at the DCOM.
I think it was 10.
9 or 10
2010.
at DCOM.
So was this Esplanade year before Debbie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our first year with us was 2015, so I'm gonna skip forward a couple of years and just kind of.
Well, I want to hit one thing real quick, and then and then we want to jump over to the next threshold,
Yeah.
which it sounds like. But I wanted to ask real quick: do you have any notes on what it's like to be on Esplanade?
Be prepared for nonstop. I'm not going to discourage anybody from taking on an Esplanade camp. The ones who've been on Esplanade for years know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You have to come up with a plan. That year, in my OCDness, I wrapped our entire camp in yellow trash fence. Entire camp. And I could close it at night. The entire, all the way around the back, we put up yellow trash fence. I have rolls of it in my yard at Joshua Tree because we were concerned about security. We were concerned about people just wandering through. I and Eric, who was still my co-lead at the time, we were just really concerned that we didn't want to be overrun by being at a corner, not just on Esplanade, but at a corner.
Yeah.
So we if you look at pictures of our camp that year, it's completely surrounded in yellow trash fence, and I had pieces that could come across the openings to the canopies at night, and we closed. We just literally closed. We turned lights off. We went to bed at 2 or 3 in the morning.
Interesting. Yeah. Did it work?
Mostly, we'd wake up to hippies on the couches, but that it's fine. What I learned from that is I didn't want to be on Esplanade again. The next year, 2010, we did not go for placement. We actually took kind of a dark year and chilled back on 3 o'clock and or 3:30 and C or D. That was back when you didn't need placement. I was a greeter. Oh, by the way, I also was a greeter and had coffee cafe shifts.
Because he doesn't feel like he's busy enough.
I was a greeter up until about 4 years ago. I was still greeting.
How many hours do you sleep?
5 or 6.
Okay.
I'm not one of those ones who stays up all night.
Yeah.
I don't go out and go to the art cars and dance all night. In fact, I don't think I've ever danced at an art car. I'm not really. I'm more into
Your high is from the creating.
the
process,
creating
yeah.
and seeing the other people's art and stuff going on in the
And
daytime.
meeting the people
and meeting with
out.
people. Yeah, it's more about the social environment for me than it is about the music and the dancing.
When did the blowjob start?
Okay, so we are moving forward. 10 was a kind of a
obviously.
quiet year. We brought up some of our camp, but we didn't bring any of the games. We just kind of brought a bedroom camp, as I call it. Called it Destiny Lounge Light, and we were back in the sticks a little bit with about 15 or 20 of us.
Bedroom camp and blowjobs. This is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, the blowjobs were later.
Okay.
And then 11, we had a year off, so we went 11. We got placement again, and we were at 3 o'clock in A again, one of our same old spots we'd been before. 11 was okay, but the vibe was off. There was just our DJ was gone. We had a different lady DJing, and she wasn't. It was just an off year. It just didn't. It was not a year that vibed really well. That was the year we had. Much angst between a couple people in the camp, and people really were pissed at each other. And I guess every camp goes through a growing pain at some point. So 11 was not a great year, and for the next 3 years, we did not get placed. We went back to being a bedroom camp for 3 years, 12, 13, and 14. And in 13, we were sitting around. It was 114 degrees. It was 13 or 14. One of those years. It was super duper hot. You couldn't even move.
Yeah.
That year. It was so hot, and we had a fan that we use when we're loading the truck, one of the big 20-inch floor fan. And I got the idea. I turned the generator on, and I just brought it over to where we were all hanging out on the couches, sweltering. And we just started taking turns blowing each other with this fan. And that kind of triggered my thoughts to, what if we did something like this for people? And, and we'd spritz you with water and then blow it on you, and it was great. So in 14, we added a thing called free blowjobs. And it was not, we were still not a placed camp. Was it 14 or 15? We had already done blowjobs when you joined us. It was already existing, so it was 14. We were still back at 3:30 and D, or 3:45 and D or E. We were next to Lost Penguin one year. They were back there off of 3:30, I think. And so I created a platform. It's a graded platform. It's 4x4 platform, and you entice people to get up on it and get a free blowjob. Hey, come on over and get a free blowjob. It's like, what?
It's great just to offer people.
It's
like
not.
the looks
It's not
that
what
get.
you think. And free blowjobs.
Bring the kids. Come
Free
on.
blowjobs. The name fell into it. It just created itself. It was,
Yeah.
whatever.
I love that the insinuation is that there's other things that cost something.
Free blowjobs over here.
We're charging for the hand
we get on
jobs.
the
The
mega-
blowjobs are free.
We get on the megaphone and we offer free blowjobs. We have this really powerful fans under this graded deck, and we have Hudson sprayers full of scented water or unscented. We have drool. We have extra drool. You want extra drool with your blowjob? And we've had people actually starting to drop their pants or get up there and with no pants at all, and expecting one of these hot girls on the megaphone to actually come up and start doing their thing. I said, no, not that kind of blowjob. So yeah, the double entendre has been a lot of fun, and the free blowjobs is still, it's easy. It's an afternoon thing. It really brings people in. It's very social, a lot of fun.
It's a great relief.
We were across.
after a hot day.
We
You
were
come
across
by
from
something that
Arctica
cools you
last.
off.
We were across from Arctica last time, so it was that was easy. So free blowjobs was born, and then we decided. Actually, we were placed in 14. 11 and 12 we were. 12 and 13 we were not placed. 14 we decided we really wanted to be placed again because we couldn't get anybody in early to set up.
Yeah.
And I was getting in early because I was a greeter. Other people were getting in early because they were DMV. We have DMV in our camp, Rangers in our camp, greeter, or art or volunteers were in our camp, but only those people could get in early. So we were just setting up camp with like 5 people. Dave Boyer is an artist; he's camps with us. So like 5 of us were coming in to set up camp. It's really not fair. So in 14 we got placement again, and that's when we started with the free blowjobs.
Yeah. You know, the
15.
most, I'm sorry, I was going to say, the most intimidating part of working under you, I think, would be that you seem to have like encyclopedic knowledge and memory of everything.
No, I don't.
Or at least you're presenting it
I
like
don't. And as I get older, it's getting worse. I don't remember shit.
So much detail. Like, no, it was this year. Like, holy
Okay.
crap.
So
that is intimidating.
So let's get to Debbie. 2015, Carnival of Mirrors was the theme, right? Wasn't that the name of it?
Something like that.
Carnival of Mirrors. And I had always had in my mind this vision of the whirling tunnel you walk through that's an infinite tunnel
Yeah.
with mirrors at either end. And Carnival of Mirrors, like, okay, I got to build this thing. So I designed this tunnel. It's 9-foot diameter, 16-foot long tube that rotates with a bridge through the center, and it's in darkness. And I'm like, what am I going to paint the inside like? And I remembered Debbie. And Debbie, who
Called the random stranger.
called the random stranger, hey, Debbie, you remember me, Dave Taylor? We met at DCOM. We've run into each other a few times, and I love your stuff. I got this project. And the way I remembered it, she's like, yeah. The way she remembers is like,
No.
I
don't want to do your.
I don't want to
crazy
go to the
project.
burn. I've had shitty burn experiences, and I don't want to go back.
Done.
And I'm just done. And then, but we chatted, and I guess she thought about it. And I'll let you talk about this.
No, I mean, he called me. He's like, hey, the vortex came. He's like, I have this idea, and I want your art for it. And, I mean, I think you had other people that wanted other things too. Like they wanted lights or they wanted a different thing. But he's like, no, I want your black light art and your 3D, and let's do this. And I was working on different projects for different art directors at the time, and they weren't paying me, and I was very upset. And I was working for anybody else and their pet projects. So, but Dave, during the year, like I'm like, he kept, his OCD and attention to detail and professionalism. Really, is like, hey, this guy's like been there through the entire time, and pretty much presented it to make it easy. And here I have this for you. Oh no, you need some paint, and that gets me every time.
Briber with paints.
Briber with paint.
I got an account at the paint store. Let's put it that way.
And I mean that's I'm easily swayed by free paint, and material and idea and concept, and it was a great concept. And really sat there and he's like, he brought me this 32-foot by 16-foot single panel and said, here, paint this.
At that point, you had a studio space to work
Yeah,
in.
I did. I missed my studio. But I mean, even that was like dividing it up in pieces. So it ended up being, so it had to be cylindrical, and then it had to like appear to be infinite as well. So not only did it have to join in the middle, but the story had to reflect out of both ends.
The ends of the
make
tunnel are
sense.
mirrored, so
Wow,
so
okay.
it appears that it's going on forever.
So yeah, like trying to like come up with a concept and a design for, you know, cylindrical and infinite is like, yeah, let me get right on that. So it was a little complex, like trying to figure the art out. But you know, Dave gave me full reign. He goes, I just want it colorful and pretty. So
We got a huge goldfish.
so we have the
koi.
The koi fish of the planet Earth is over here, and then there's the infinite koi fish of the universe swimming through the bubbles that turn into space and turn into the planet with a fireball headed back towards Earth. And in the fireball is the reflection coming back, and if you look at it, it's Jerry Garcia's face.
Wow. I did not expect
intended that way, but it
No,
turned out
it's totally
that way.
intended
George,
that
you
way.
tend. I'm sorry, it was intended that way.
It didn't start off that way, but you know, when I started making the flames and then the reflection, I'm like, I have to put a face in it. And then it looked like Jerry Garcia.
And one of the scariest parts of this is we never got it fully installed until we actually hit the playa. The
Oh,
the
wow.
big
Yeah.
fabric never actually got installed. And the first fabric did, and it didn't fit.
Yeah.
I had to have the guy who made it for me, another favorite from the entertainment industry, I had to have him remake it because he cut it wrong. So
mean,
we
it's-
never actually got to put it in there before we hit the playa.
It's too
Wow.
spec. And Dave being a perfectionist, like it is exactly to spec. So he built this giant tube and spinning machine to spin it, and I painted it. And then we put the two pieces together. Finally, when we got on playa, like, is it gonna work?
And then we turn it on, go whirt, and we walk in and say, "Oh shit!"
It works.
Yeah, we remember we walked in together the first time it was turning on with the lights and the glasses, with our 3D glasses on, and we're going, "Oh crap, I'm falling over."
Yeah, no, it immediately messes with your equilibrium.
it's fun.
Yeah, it's so good.
And so
We'll have to get you in our vortex.
So Debbie
Yeah,
joined.
definitely.
So now Debbie's.
I
now,
feel like I'm in your vortex right now.
so Debbie's part of our crew now, and she's like, can I bring a couple things to put up on the walls of the camp? Oh, sure, why not? It's just going to be black walls, you know. It gets so dusty, people draw pictures in the black dust on our sidewalls because that's kind of what's been happening the last few years. And so she starts.
It's a little closer. Yeah.
She starts hanging up these murals, and I'm like, there's murals growing all over our camp, and suddenly our camp is a 3D wonderland of her art. And I'm like, this is really cool. This is really cool. I loved it. It was just like completely unexpected.
They were meant to be together. It really was.
and
Like,
so-
it's like you got your peanut butter and my chocolate, and I brought my chocolate for your peanut butter.
So we've been running down this road ever since. So the tea and the lemonade, by the way, 2011 was our last year for tea and lemonade. That went long ago. Yeah. We got rid of that.
Why is that?
Too hard. You know, the health department thing, and the dishwashing thing, and
Playa.
the couple of ladies who were doing it with religious, wonderful religious fervor. Weren't coming anymore, and so it was going to come to us to actually mix up these. And it was great tea and great lemonade. We had recipes for both that we were the best on the playa, but it was our special blend of lemonade mix. But
And that was that the year that Destiny Lounge became neon?
that was the year of the beginning of the Destiny Lounge 3D, and I think the next year we added the 3D to the name.
Yeah.
First year was free.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of back on 3 o'clock in E, I think.
Yeah.
And like and it's hard to like, hey, come on in my vortex, and people are like, I don't want to go in there.
Yeah, it's scary.
And
And
then
we weren't getting a lot of crowd because we were just off the beaten path. It was kind of, in some ways, it was nice because it was like this secret thing people didn't, and then they'd bring their friends back. And we only were running it for a few hours each night because, and then came 18, and again, 9 years later, hey, we'd like to put you on the corner of 3 o'clock in Esplanade. I'm like, oh, and you want to know the funniest part about that? How many people in my group are still there? Not a soul.
they didn't know.
I'm the only one in our current group who was actually at Destiny Lounge in 3 o'clock in 2009 when we were on the Esplanade. So nobody else has that institutional memory of how much work that is.
Yeah. So a whole new generation came in, and
Jay,
forgotten, yeah.
well, Jay was with us but she was next door, but she knew what we were getting into. So
And you're about how many people at this time?
I think we were up to almost 40. We had like 36.
It was a big year.
Yeah, it was a big
we were
year.
pretty solid, but we had stuff go. With the Vortex installed on the Esplanade, like we had a line like for an hour to get.
There were
into
60,
that thing.
70 people.
Pretty much
And like I said, bike management.
every night.
We had to keep the road clear. Rangers, the BLM folks were coming by and telling us we have to get the bikes out of the street.
Yeah.
And we had bike parking, but it was packed. And then once it gets full, the bikes just start growing.
Yeah.
They're like breeding like rabbits out there in the street. And was that the year? That was the year we took on Talk to God.
Yep.
In 2018. Talk to God is a.
So what does that mean? Took on.
Talk to God's been around for years.
Right.
And Ye is one of the original shepherds. It was started by OBOP, the Ohio Bureau of Pleasure. I think it was OBOP. And which is sort of turned into DOTA, which is the Department of Tethered Aviation,
Okay.
aka kites. And I'm probably screwing that history up because I don't know that well. But let's put a phone booth out in the middle of the playa that is just there, and at the other end is a person who is God. And if the people walk by and they see the phone, they pick it up. Hello, it rings it rings in the camp in a kind of a hidden little throne area. Yes, my child, how may I help you? Is this God? Why, yes, it is. Oh, I didn't really think anybody was going to answer. I thought it was going to be some silly voice answering machine. Oh no, child, I'm here. I'm right here. Well, I don't know what to do. My boyfriend is running around with some other girl today. Well, does he make you happy? And the conversations go on from there.
I had that one. My answer was, "Have you tried women?"
Yeah, there's and it can be everything.
It's fucking it up.
I've sat in the throne. I've sat in the throne a few times myself, and I've had everything from an early morning call, because you get up at, when you wake up at 7 in the camp and everybody else is asleep till noon. You get up and you sit in the God throne, and the phone rings. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm having my coffee, and it's like, yes, hi, I just found out my mom died yesterday. Like, oh, my child, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And you have to, wow, let's pull this one out of my heart. Where do I go with
you
this?
You never know what's coming.
And then,
you could have something funny or something.
Yeah,
very
a lot of them are
serious.
just fun, and they're like, where are you, God? I know you're here somewhere. I'm everywhere. I'm right there with you. Yeah. No, yeah, come on. You're right here. And it's like, my child, if you are to find God, it will be your destiny.
Nice.
So, that was my hint. But, then people come over and they want to play God. They sit and watch for a while and listen, because there's a speaker, next to the throne. And it's behind some veils, kind of in the corner of the camp.
So it's almost like, do different camps get selected for it? Almost like a greeter?
Well, yay. It has been Red Lightning hosted it for a while, and it's bounced around. There's been 3 or 4 different phone booths. That year, there was the Red Lightning group wasn't going to come. I forget his name. Friends of Ye's, and they weren't going to come. And so she said, "Well, we could host it. I bet I can get our camp to host it." And she said, "Dave, I want to shepherd, as she calls it. I want to shepherd, talk to God in our camp. You don't have to do anything."
That's my favorite.
I like that line. Yeah. What does it need? It needs nothing. It needs a place for the throne. I can do that. Yeah. So we created a little room off to the side with some, and we fluffed it up with some Debbie's art and some veils, and so. But you need a line of sight to the phone, which is out across the street, across Esplanade, about 70 feet out there in the dirt, in the dust, and it's it's a magical thing. So in 18 and 19.
So that's the secret. It's going to be in the line of sight of the phone booth.
Well, you have to, but hidden, because we can see you, but in bright daylight, it's not necessarily easy to see into the shadows.
Sure, yeah.
So,
there's more than one.
So and actually, in the last couple of years, it's virtual. There's a virtual Talk to God. Is it talktogod.com or something like that? But there's a virtual version that's been for Africa Burn and for all the burns at Kiwi Burn. And I've been. I
think they did it for BRC.
There's a whole pantheon of people who've been trained, and it's a Zoom-based system. where you go into a waiting room and then you get pushed into the breakout room with God, and then you get pushed back into the ante room for the debriefing. It's been pretty good. I did it for 3 or 4 hours when they first did it a year and a half ago or so, and it was fun.
Yeah.
But it's you have to be anywhere. It's just a website. But I think it loses a little bit of something by not being in the playa and instantly interactive.
There's a common thread of things that have been lost a little bit as we get Wi-Fi connections.
So, but our Esplanade year,
LED.
Debbie, she pulled out all the stops for our camp. It was a wonderland.
An underwater,
We had-
underwaterland.
We had coral reefs. We had
This was 2018. I'm sorry.
2018. We had a space grotto. We had the vortex dumped you into the space grotto that dumped you into the back. We also have a thing called Twirl-O-Vision, which is a camera inside that looks at people going through the vortex, and you don't know it's there until you come out, and then you could see that we were all watching you and laughing.
Oh, that's fun.
That's my favorite thing, is watching everybody trip out in the tunnel, because they lose their minds in there. Like, they go in thinking they're okay. I got this.
It's the initial whoop when they walk in. It's like, whoa, what's this?
And then people get silly in there because they're kind of they don't know they're being watched.
Yeah.
And like, there's been some very funny thing of people just freaking out. in there.
It is
so
it is very funny, and we've had nothing bad, knock knock, really happen in the vortex. Nobody's chucked in it or anything like that. It's been indoctrinated. There are butt prints in the bridge, and I know who it was, but I'm not saying. It's not always running, and it's a nice dark shady place in the daytime. There's butt prints on our bridge.
Yeah, obviously.
Don't touch that.
I would say that's part of what you expect if you're going to create something that's going to have some shade and a little hint of privacy on Playa.
So, I mean, that's when people go in there and they come through our camp and they're going, oh my God. That's when those little chills go up and down the back.
Yeah, I love that part. I love watching people experience all of it, like the black light with the 3D, like just being, when you're immersed in that environment, it's exciting. Like, it changes your reality. It really alters your reality. It's so good. And, it makes you happy in places, whatever you were thinking about, like, it changes all that. Like, I remember one time at 3 o'clock in the morning, we were at Esplanade. Somebody brings some people over. They're like, these people wanted to talk to you. You're the artist, right? It's like, yeah. They're like, we're from MIT, and we think you're a genius.
Yeah, we're from the government. Okay. We're here to help. Yeah.
Thanks. Can I get that on camera? That'd be great.
Yeah. It's the magic of Debbie's art is, the kids get it.
Yeah.
Kids go nuts.
Yeah.
We just finished our installation. We were part of Lightscape at the Arboretum. We built in 2019. One of our campers died suddenly of a heart attack in January or February. It was early February of 2019. And we were already planning on building some kind of a centerpiece for a plaza. And I'd already started the design on it. And then Scott died very suddenly. And we decided to dedicate the construction to him. And we built this beautiful pagoda. And I built all the parts and pieces, and I took them to Debbie. Took them here, and said Debbie spread them across our entire backyard and painted all these gorgeous patterns and pictures over this thing.
And again, run your house.
And again, something we never saw. We never saw it fully completed with all of the paint until we hit the playa. That was on my trailer when we.
But
hit
it
the
had
truck
been
wreck.
put together.
It had been assembled, but never completely tweaked and painted.
Yeah, so for 2 months, 16 hours a day, I painted that thing. And we had the camp, people came over, and they could only get it sanded into white, but all the color, it kind of had to be me.
It had to be her, because it's a magical blend of colors.
Yeah.
And so that lived in the 3 o'clock in G Plaza in 2019. Quite successfully. It was very popular as a beacon, because you could see it from all 4 streets. You could see it coming down 3. You could see it coming down G right in the center. And at night, the thing absolutely popped. But then it went back in my storage container for 2 years until.
Yeah, and then I got approached by Mark Rosenthal with LA League of Arts, and he's like, I'm the art director for Lightscape, this company out of the UK that's doing all of these arboretums and botanical gardens for holiday light presentations. Like I think 14 around the United States.
There's
and
five in the U.S. and a whole bunch in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was 23
They're
total. It was
UK based.
crazy.
Yeah.
So they invited me to they invited a lot of burners to put applications in for projects, and they said no to my first proposal, and they're like, well, why don't we need these things for the gates? Why don't you make these gate things? I'm like, we need the temple there too. Like we have this giant beautiful temple and it's done.
And in the meantime, my friend Dusty is the tech manager for Lightscape in LA, who I work with all the time. He's a guy I know and work with. He said, I'm actually tech producing this this thing at the Arboretum, this Lightscape thing. Do you still have that 3D temple thing you built? I'm like, yeah. Do you think you want to put it in there for a couple of months? I'm like, no. Actually, my initial reaction was, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it. I'm like, well, it's just sitting in storage. I would love to have a reason to put it out there for people to see. And then I find out that she's been talking to Mark. So it actually came to us from two different directions.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Bring the temple.
And so it was installed in early November, and it sat there for 2.5 months. I just tore it out on Tuesday, and it's now stuffed back in storage again. But it was absolutely incredible to see
public display. It was so
to
good.
see Burning Man art being appreciated by people. I would just go out and sit in the afternoon, even though it wasn't lit up in the afternoon, it's still a draw.
Yeah.
And I just sit there at the bench next to it and kind of listen to the people and watching the kids run all over it and just, Johnny, get out of there, Johnny. You know, I said, it's fine. He can climb all over it. It's fine. That's what it's for.
Yeah,
Why?
so exciting to see it out in a public area like that. And like that, I mean, we when we first designed and collaborated on it, we wanted it to be a public art piece. Like it's meant to go beyond the playa, or at least that design, and be seen and be out. So it's stellar to have it out for 2.5 months.
We're both really excited that it got to be out there for that much time. I think my rough estimate is like 150,000 people paid to come through there and see this thing.
Wow.
Amongst the other, there's a lot of beautiful art out there, but ours was just one of many installations.
Yeah, it's such an honor to be a part of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their first installation in LA, and I think they're going to be there for another few years. I mean, what a great thing to take on and be a part of.
And if they ask us to put it back, will we? Well, I'll think about it.
Come on.
We'll think about it.
They should have left it there, is what I think.
It wouldn't have lasted.
It wasn't costing anything. It was there, and it's not like it's a part of. We weren't interrupting any tree area. It's a weird little area it was in. It was just fine. And then I had made 3 other pieces for the Arboretum that they did approve. So it was a cherry tree at the entrance with a little Asian themed gate and a bridge that I had made, which was in the original sketch. And then when I went to put it up, they're like, no bridge. I'm like, what do you mean no bridge? Like, the Huntington has a bridge. We can't have a bridge at the Arboretum. I'm like, really? Like, all right, it's not the cross I want to die on. All right. Apparently it's between them. We'll let it go. So bridge got taken out, but so we got the cherry tree, a palm tree installation, and then the saguaro cactus.
And I'll tell you what, I've poached photographs for the last 2.5 months on Instagram. The saguaro was in every single photo set. Not the temple. The temple was in a lot, but the saguaro was in every single set of photos. People
it was hilarious.
loved that thing.
Well, and you couldn't really, like, people are like, oh, is it illuminated from the inside? I'm like, no, it's a painting. It's a
literally
black light
literally
painting. Yeah.
mostly 2-dimensional. It had some relief on it with some stuff she added on, but it was really it was amazing how 3-dimensional it appeared to be. It was, I mean, it was round, but the surface was painted in such a way that it looked just like a cactus with all of the depth and stuff that went to it. It's pretty amazing.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
And then she's got the 2 little barrel cactus that are that with little pillows in front of it. If you looked at it right, it was a big dick with 2 pillows.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Burning rat.
That I
Maybe
saw
that's
sitting
just
outside.
me. Maybe that's just what I see. I don't know.
Dicks everywhere. So this is kind of a specific question for each of you based on the journeys that you've shared for us. First, Dave, has your experience running a camp at Burning Man affected how you operate in your professional world?
Yes. Well, it's softened me. Like I said, I'm an OCD, very in control sort of person.
Very type A.
Very type A. She's not.
Yeah, this is one of my memories of the
She's
internet.
not.
She's like, why would you wear a watch? Why would you wear something that tells you have to be somewhere?
That's my watch. Yeah.
My friends have designated me my own time zone.
I've been told. Well, a number of things happened in my life. I was in a long-term relationship that ended. My partner died in 2018, and that made me super unhappy for a really long time because of this how the relationship was ending up. He was not taking care of himself, and he was failing, and I was just angry. And since he has passed away, I've jumped back into my recovery program. I've been in a men's group once a week. And I've just done a lot of work on myself. And so I've mellowed. But a lot of the mellowing really has happened by being a leader of the camp. I am the leader of the camp, but I have other people. I have other people who take on responsibility. I have Anna who vets new members. I don't have to deal with that anymore. Because my choices weren't always great. But she actually has conversations with them and talks about this and that. We expect you this and we expect you that. And, of course, most of them make the lip service and say, great. And some would say, ooh, that sounds like too much work. So, we've got bunches of people who seem to want to join us this year because everybody's dying to go to the burn. But I still want to not exceed our 35 to 40 number.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to 55 or 60. I just don't. Well, first off, I don't plan that number when I'm building the camp layout. When I design the camp layout, I'm designing it for 40 people. After that, you hit another threshold where nothing's large enough. The kitchen area is not big enough. You need more showers. We have 2 porta potties. I would need 3. And that's expensive. All this stuff's expensive out there.
We're pretty plush.
We have a really wonderfully comfortable camp. We do have our own private potties that are a little secluded and private. We get them pumped every 2 days, and it works really well. Huh?
It's gold out there.
It's gold. Well, especially here we are in Esplanade. The nearest potties were 2,500 feet that way or 3,000 feet that way. Which ones do you want to go to? It's like there's no potties at 3 o'clock in Esplanade. So that was a wonderful.
Softer
thing.
though was the answer. You've gotten softer.
Gotten softer. Well, it's not cheap to put on a theme camp. I'll tell people that right away.
Yeah.
You can do a cheap theme camp, but it's going to look like a cheap theme camp.
But it's burning tenderizes you a little bit almost.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what we have to do. After 14 years of doing this, I know what it's going to take to create this camp. And I have a number of people who are still with us. Nobody from the original group is still around. And my friend Eric dropped out a few years ago. He's got married, has kids, and it just got to be too
He's
challenging.
had his little baby girl, so he's got 4 kids.
He's got 4 kids now. Yeah, they brought their kids last year. I think he was 15, and he brought the 2 kids.
Debbie, how has your experience with the camp affected how you art out in the real world, if any?
Well, with
default.
With the Destiny Lounge, and Dave's perfectionism, all I have to do is go hang stuff up, basically, that's already done. It makes me look really good. When I am a crazy nutball of chaos, and Dave is the rock that just gets shit done.
She has a huge neon sign over her that says "Artist."
Yeah.
It just glows. I know, it's miraculous. Just
What is it about the two of you that kind of connects and balances? Because that's something you've talked about a lot, even last when I interviewed you.
She brings out my crazy.
Okay. And you bring out your control?
I don't know if I bring out anything in her.
he comes to my rescue often, which I need an adult in the room, and Dave is the adult. And I cheer him up and make him laugh and giggle and not take things so seriously.
She's also a bit of a check valve for me sometimes. It's like, well, that's stupid. It's like, it is? I'm like, no, that's not a great idea. Oh, okay.
Because he'll overthink things, and sometimes I'm very logical in my own way, but in a different way, completely. And a lot of it's like, I just get to the quick. I don't have time for a lot of And Dave will overthink things so hard sometimes because of that's his job. And the perfectionism, and I'm just like, why don't we just do it this way? It just comes out smooth and gets handled. Either way, between the two of us, we get big shit done.
Yeah.
And that's been the best part. You know, we'll go to Disneyland, we'll go create, we hang out, we're good friends. You know, it's been a magical friendship.
We go see Tool together.
We did. We just went to see Tool.
We have a lot of common interest in music and stuff. So it's
a
good.
really obscure common interest.
I've
in
dragged
music.
her. I dragged her to a Stephen Wilson concert, and she was. You like that?
One of my favorite. Yeah, the old Genesis. Yeah. So
I love it.
good times.
You said 2019 ended up being a pretty magical year after the insanity.
You know what? What it did is we became a family.
Yeah.
That whole experience when everybody showed up in the middle of nowhere on a work day with trucks and bins and shovels and elbows, and the CHP said they'd never seen anything like it. When we were done 9 hours later, the site was spotless. There was leave no trace of a 26-foot truck rolling and spilling its contents all over the desert. Wow. There was nothing there but some bruised bushes and a bunch of marks in the sand. There might still be something buried in the sand out there. I've
Not
always
the way
thought
I
about
want to go. My art to go.
thought about
viral.
taking a metal detector out there and see if I can find any more bolts.
Quite literally.
But I mean, they said we've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that you guys were able to clear that all up.
That he survived the rollover. The driver survived the rollover. and the
Most
truck,
importantly, that he was not seriously hurt.
because that the truck, 26-foot truck, was in splinters. at the
It
end
was
of it.
it's not pretty.
So you on Playa that year, you felt closer to each other.
I think there was a
more connected
camaraderie.
energy.
There was a definite camaraderie that I think there's always been, but it was just that much stronger.
Yeah.
The whole
See, I
burn.
showed up on Wednesday because I was still at a whole nother show, and like the having the conversation, Dave, I'm not gonna be there for build, and they, what are you doing? We can't do this without you. I'm like, you can. It's okay. They've did it before. You can do it without
And
me.
luckily, I have an amazing. We have an amazing team.
Yeah.
We have an amazing crew. The folks, they just jumped in and just took care of it all.
Well, everybody sees how hard Dave fights to get things done, and they just want to do good things for him and be there for him as he is with all of us. You know, like he takes care of everybody, and you know, you've assembled a crew of some badassery that are solid and care.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of, I mean, if nobody cared, we wouldn't be able to get this done. So that's part of the magic. You know, I'll make it pretty if you care.
Yeah.
And Dave will make it happen, and we'll get there.
I'll
and
bring you what you need if you think you're going to take care of it.
it'll be magical, and it'll be comfortable.
Our entire tent area is carpeted.
Yeah.
60 by 60 tent, a canopy.
But it goes all the way into camping too.
We're very comfy. We have a shower. We get our UVAP pumped every couple of days.
And somehow he magically turns it to where the wind isn't. But like in the Esplanade installation, it wasn't just blacklight in 3D; it was also kinetic.
Yeah, you had all kinds of.
So I
like,
designed it to
fishnets
be
and all these hangings.
moving
And we had
and-
the twirlies too. We had the spinning spirals that you stare at the spinning spirals, and then you look away, and your whole eyes are going woo woo woo.
I've from years of interviewing folks on this show, I've always noticed that the burn experience starts like long before you actually make it to the playa, and like all kinds of shit happens, and it hazes you and it throws things at you. And I'm almost hearing the story, and it's almost like that playa energy was like telling you need to let go a little bit, and you saw everybody show up for you in such an amazing way. And it brought
Like I said,
everybody
I was
closer.
ready to throw in the towel. I just was watching all of that work sitting in a pile at the side of the road, and my heart just fell in my. I don't think I've ever felt that low in my life.
Yeah.
As watching that truck roll. It was just an awful day. I was pretty much in shock all day. I think I was pretty useless. They showed up and they took care
Yeah,
of it.
no. Austin said he really.
Yeah, I was.
That
pretty,
guy stood up and
Yeah.
handled some shit that day.
Yeah, he did. I vapor locked. I'll be honest. I was just so. It was such a devastating emotional experience to have that happen. I love to say I just went to it and I jumped in and I pulled and I did help some, but at some point I just had to sit down and kind of watch it all happen because I was in a bit of shock.
No, it's just it's like it's the story is almost Taoist in how it played out. Like you had to let go and allow, and your team showed up and
They all knew
handled
what to do.
and you got closer as a result.
They all
What
knew
an
what to do.
incredible story.
It all happened. They put me to bed. And I woke up and stuff was already done, and we got the camp built and got the art built. And
That's a great thing about being out there is the people that you meet that are strangers, and then you have some crazy experience that bonds you even farther and deeper. And those, you don't have that in reality land as much.
no.
At that
Yeah,
level.
you get it-
not at that level.
You get it in, I think, like scientists at NASA, when they launch like a telescope after working on it for 20 years, I think they have an experience very similar to ours.
I'm sure.
I think it's the same kind of feeling, though. It's
Yeah.
you all worked towards this goal, and maybe ours isn't quite as lofty.
I
a
say that's
goal,
the level
but-
we're working at. Is
Yeah,
NASA.
but,
Yeah,
but,
NASA.
but you know what I mean. But you know what I mean. There are things in life that let you get you that feeling of accomplishment and joy that comes with having achieved something.
Yeah, it takes different form, but
Yeah.
it's a similar thing that we're all aspiring
And
to.
I think if everybody had something in their life that they were aspiring to, that they could achieve, we'd have a lot more happy people. I really do. But a lot of people just don't seem to have that. They're just kind of going on day to day and paying the bills and
And that's why I
go to
keep
see movies and get
keep doing
depressed
my
and-
work is to, because beyond self, what I do to myself to make it happen, to pull it off, to put myself into detriment or debt even, or emotional stress beyond, because I can see what it does for other people and how it changes them and affects them, and to the betterment. Oh, this makes me happy. That makes that little kid happy, makes that adult happy, makes that big biker dude happy, makes that little 5-year-old happy, makes a 92-year-old happy. I have autistic kids that'll walk in, and they'll be in there for hours, and their parents will come in. They'll be like, "I've never seen them react to anything like that."
We had a kid in our camp
It's
that one
huge.
time. They were just fascinated with your rugs. Remember that? There was a kid in our camp one year. That was on the spectrum.
The
And
rugs?
They're just couldn't. They kept bringing him back because he was just so loved. It was the rugs or something that was in the camp. Maybe it was one of the plushies or something.
Could have been the fish.
It might have been the fish. I think it was the fish, but he was just loved our camp.
Well, it
And they
could have been the dolphin.
they kept bringing him back by because it was like he would light up when he come in.
Yeah.
And having that energy. I mean, I just like to sit in the camp and watch people come in and go, "Whoa, what is this? What's going on here? This is crazy."
Yeah, but in that, like, if there was a couple days where I'd be like, "Oh, she did it," and I'm like, "You can't tell him it's me." Like, I have to have some anonymity out there because I get mauled. People will come up and be like, and like, I've dropped all their barriers, and they're like, "Oh, thank you," and they don't realize, like, they're putting a lot of their they're free of their emotional garbage here.
Yeah.
And kind of, have a lot of empathic, and I'll be physically ill by the end of the day if I get all these hugs and stuff like that. It just
And
it's too
we're
much.
opposite that way. I come from a land of never being enough when I was a kid. So I love acknowledgement.
And
I
I'll do
thrive on
it. Take it. You guys get the
I
hugs. You guys
thrive.
do it.
I honestly admit, I love it when people come in and tell me how wonderful things are. I do. It's what I live for because my parents
We
were both
worked
gone. I can
hard.
say this. I never really, getting approval as a child was not easy because they had such high expectations for what I should achieve.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh,
They
that's
should
lovely.
be very proud of you.
Oh, you
sir.
got A- on this class. That's not quite good enough. It's like, really? That was not true at the end. Well, as my dad died when I was young. My mom and I were wonderful when I was later on in life, and she's been gone for quite a few years now.
But the acknowledgement is better than any drink, I take it.
Absolutely. Was drink? Drink was just me clouding my reality. I was just an unhappy person burying my feelings behind substances. It wasn't just drink. It was a lot of stuff. I did everything you can think of. I did, and whatever you had, I wanted all of it. So
Well, I
love
think
that.
that's part of the thing that
it's kind of the OCD thing.
keeps the camp, like, I think, so successful for so long is Dave's sobriety.
I'm not quite the only one, but I am pretty much the one who's completely sober.
No, I love that. I'm constantly looking for stories to share with like, you know, non-burners. It turns out this is going to be an excellent episode for folks to play for their non-burner friends, because that's usually like the first question they ask is like, don't you have to do a bunch of drugs to enjoy Burning Man? I'm like,
aren't you all stoned the whole
yeah.
time?
No.
I know so many people that have been going for a very long time, and like that, there's so much to do. There's so much to experience. And no, I really, really appreciate your candor, and I want to thank both of you for sharing your story. Thank you for the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into creating everything you do.
We'll make more.
Yeah,
Yes.
on and off Playa.
We're gonna do it this year. We're
It's
planning
coming.
we're planning on being there.
Excellent.
Might be something new. Might
Oh, teaser.
It's a simple something. The budget's not there this year for massive.
You should- All right. That was counterproductive, counterclimactic.
Well, no, it'll be fun, but it's not a huge thing. Yeah, we're thinking of something new.
Well, I mean, we have a temple and we have a vortex.
Yeah, those might both be making it out there.
And
so.
we have
to get enough people
art.
interested. The vortex is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have to build it, then you have to run it. Because
Yeah.
it's not something you can just like leave it sit in the corner. Somebody has to stand at the door, and if it gets packed, you have to manage the bicycles in the crowd. Blah 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 blah. And it is the sort of thing that people will know once they find out it's there, it will attract a crowd because it
It'll
has
get a
a
big line.
legacy.
Yeah.
Because it's back.
Well, I will most certainly be there.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic.
where you can't.
I don't know yet.
Oh.
But we're working on an art project, so we'll probably be a support camp that we're connecting with a couple of other San Diego camps and be out there a lot fixing that thing. Yeah.
The nature of art. I've got a couple of friends who are also artists out there. Dave Boyer is one of our campers. He's done some pretty amazing wind kinetic sculptures out there. You've seen them.
Oh yeah.
The spinning wheels and stuff.
Yeah,
there.
he is on our. I'm pretty sure at some point we started connecting with him about doing an episode.
I think you had said something.
Yeah,
and I
that's
said
right.
You needed to talk to
Yeah,
Dave
yeah,
Boyer.
He's
Yeah.
been
We'd love to
camping
connect
with us
with
for
him.
quite a
for
while.
honorarium.
Yeah.
I'm like,
then,
we don't get those.
And then I've got another friend who I work with who's also done a couple of really fun pieces out there.
good.
What the hell is it called? I can't remember now, but she's done a couple of deep playa pieces, which is a whole other level of commitment.
Oh yeah.
That's-
That's what we're exploring. But
Yeah.
But thank you both very much. We appreciate you very much. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for all the work that you do. This is the part where I thank you and I do the outro. So I can
So
send you
shut
on
up
your
now?
merry.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I do talk a lot. I know.
Stop
Thanks
telling
for
stories.
today. Yeah, no, I know he'd be perfect. Yeah.
Oh, did I tell you about that? Never mind.
You are now listening to the sounds of Gold Dust Divas. The Gold Dust Divas are a collaboration between Larice and the Grateful G. They are based out of, do you know this city?
Calgary.
Calgary. Thank God you're here. You know what's funny?
Yosemite.
Calgary, yeah. Calgary, Canada. All these links, the links for their set and everything is going to be over at burnerpodcast.com. Please do leave us a review on iTunes or on your podcast platform of choice. And message us if you want to support the show by contributing in any fashion. You're always invited to pitch interviews in your neck of the woods. All of these links are over at burnerpodcast.com, where you'll find links to some other cool audio content. Our producers are Louis Galipo, a.k.a. Mulaku over in Bermuda, and Michael Prell in Austin. The Burner Podcast theme music, America's Horse with No Name Remix, is produced by Joman out of Denver, Colorado, and he is over at soundcloud.com/DJ Joman. Until next time, love, light, and all that other crap. Take us back to the playa, Gold Dust Divas.
I've been a fool. You're
You're on the top shelf and I'm looking up, perfectly crafted. Bartender, tell me what's in that cup. Yeah, I got to have it. I know you won't burn when I drain my glass. I know how to drink it. I learned pretty fast. So take me to bed, babe, and knock close my eyes. Yeah, I like the whiskey with my lullaby. Slow. Let me love boy, I just know. Slow boy, let me love boy, I just know. Rufus boy, let me love boy, I just know. Rufus boy, let me love. Caught up in my tape. Caught up in my tape. Don't care what you say to me, I'ma bite your feelings out. Caught up in my tape. I miss you in the basement. But your brother was a good substitute for you. And if you love me, but you never let me go. When the roof was on fire, you never let me know. Say you're sorry, honey, but you never really show. And I can leave the party without ever letting you know. Without ever letting you know. Rufus boy, let me love boy, what you know. Rufus boy, let me love without ever letting you know. Rufus boy, let me love boy, what you know. Rufus boy, let me love without ever letting you know. Rufus boy, let me love boy, what you know. Rufus boy, let me love without ever letting you know. Rufus boy, let me love boy, what you know.
I might as well be in our garden. I said a smell in the air is a dripping rose. You can be the one for me. Another soul to be my warden. Of anything there that's made of gold. A physical kiss is nothing without it. And you close your eyes to see what it's done. The body that lies is built up on looking. It's all that remains before it's begun. You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it go. I'll never love her, another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it. You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it go. I'll never love her, another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it. A heart will swell before it's hardened. With the flick of the hair, it can make you old. Another hole to dig my soul in. I'll leave anything bare that keeps me so. A physical kiss is nothing without it. And you close your eyes to see what it's done. The body that lies is built up on looking. Is all that remains before it's begun. You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it go. I'll never love her, another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it. You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it go. I'll never love her, another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it.
Happiness hit her like a train on a track. Coming towards her, stuck still, no turning back. She hid around corners and she hid under beds. She killed it with kisses, and from it she fled. With every bubble she sank
Yeah. 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 Wild Bell. Snake Hips. Sheldon McQueen.
Now that you want me, it's too late. It's too late for love. Or when you got me, you don't care. It's too late for love. I'm so tired of playing. Such a little fool, my mind is made up.
Yeah. Queen. Yeah. I'm dying trying to find a perfect timing just to tell you that everything that we had is declining. All these little things only serve as a reminder. Toothbrush on the counter, clothes in the dry. You're only funky as your last cut. You focus on the ass, your past eventually catch up. Now that's bad luck, more so a bad look. But shit, there's no such thing as a half crook. Or are you that shook?
Treats me right, treat me right. You feed me supper more than twice. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. I'm not asking for lots of fancy toys. I don't need a lot of fancy toys. Someone to keep me warm at night. Ooh. So why, when you had me, boy, you must have been blind. Goodbye, now you taste the teardrops that I cried.
Yeah. The world renowned Sheldon McQueen International. I forget, they used to call me white back in high school, cause my pants used to hug a nigga waist. Now they girlfriends treat my dick like an iPhone. Swear they like the rubber nigga case. Most of my watch is digital, all my flows critical. All these haters looking fucking green like the Piccolo. Held my city down from the underground. Probably been waiting to drop for a couple summers now. I knew a couple girls, they used to give me that run around. Now they run around, try to get up in my dun-dun-duns like, girl, do you see him? Pull up in the BM. Now that's what the fuck I call a black European. I'm a BA, double L-E-R. Laying all these rappers face down in the ER. Close curtain, check the black box on the triage. Man, sorry, life's just a B.I. Quarter pound round, how did she ride? Andale, mama E.I. Murder this bitch and Bruno Magli. Swag Bruno Mars, Jimmy J, the Easy Marley. Peace. Donato, yeah. My ride is tinted. The bitch on me inside. The minute she throw it at me like she rising Clemens, yeah. I said my ride is tinted. The bitch on me inside. The minute she throw it at me like she rides and Clemens.
Now, in my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Yeah. I said my ride is tinted. The girl on the inside.
Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance, so back on up.
Before I have to pull the strap out the cut,
give me the microphone first so I can bust like a bubble. Compton and Long Beach together, now you know you in trouble, cause ain't nothing but a G-Bang, baby. Two loped out G's, so we crazy. Death Row is the label that pays me. Unfadable, so please don't try to fake this. But back to the lecture at hand. perfection is perfected, so I'm a lad, I'm understanding from a young G's perspective. And before me, they got a trick, I have to find a contraceptive. You never know, she could be earning her man and learning her man, then at the same time burning her man. Now if she burning, I'ma chill for a minute, cause ain't no loving good enough to get burned while I'm up in it. Yeah. And that's realer than real deal, Holyfield. And now you hookers and hoes know how I feel. Well, if it's good enough to get off a proper chunk, I take a small piece of some of that funky stuff. It's like this and like that and like this and it's like that and like this and like that and it's like this and like that and like this and Drake creep to the mic like a fan.
Well, I'm peeping and I'm creeping and I'm creeping, but I damn near got killed cause my beeper kept beeping. Now it's time for me to make my impression felt. So sit back, relax and strap on your seatbelt. You've never been on a ride like this before. With a producer who can rap and control the maestro. At the same time with the dope rhyme that I kick, you know and I know I flow some old funky shit to add to my collection. The selection symbolizes dope. Take a toke but don't choke. If you do, you have no clue of what me and my homie Snoop Dogg came to do.
It's like this and like that and like this and it's like that and like this and like that and it's like this.
And we ain't got no love for those.
So just chill till the next episode. Gangster lean, getting funky on the mic like an old batch of collard greens. It's the capital S-O-S oppression, double O-P, D-O-double-G-Y, D-O-double-G, you see. Showing much flex when it's time to wreck a mic. Pippin' hoes and clacking a grip like my name was Dolomite. Yeah, and it don't quit. I think they in the mood for another one of those G hits. So Dre,
what up, dog?
We gotta give them what they want.
What's that, Jay?
We gotta break them off something.
Hell yeah.
And it's gotta be bumpin'. City of Compton.
It's where it takes place, so a national attention. Mobbing with the dog pound.
Wow, wow, wow.
Dropping the funky tracks is making the suckers just mumble. When I'm on the mic, it's like a cookie, they all crumble. Try to get close and you're bound to get smacked. My little homie Snoop Doggy Dogg has got my back. Never let me slip, cause if I slip, then I'm slipping. But if I got my Nina, then you know I'm straight tripping. And I'ma continue to put the rap down, put the Mac down. And if your woman wanna trip, I have to put the smack down. Yeah, and you don't stop. I told you I'm just like a clock when I tick and I talk. But I'm never off, always on to the break of dawn. See you when BTON in the city they call Long Beach. Putting it straight together like my homie D.O.C. No one can do it better
like this, that, and this, and it's like that, and like this, and like that, and it's like this.
And we ain't got no love for those.
So just chill till the next episode. It's like this, that, and this, and it's like that, and like this, and like that, and it's like this.
And we ain't got no love for those.
So just chill till the next episode. It's like this, that, and this, and it's like that, and like this, and like that, and it's like this.
And we ain't got no love for those.
So just chill till the next episode. It's like this, that, and this, and it's like that, and like this, and like that, and it's like this.
And we ain't got no love for those.
So just chill till the next episode.
I might smile when you do what I like, and I've been waiting, just for your time. What we do just feels right.
You know what? 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 You know what?
Listen to me, people. I ain't got time to think about money or what it can buy, and I ain't got time to sit down and wonder what makes a bird fly, and I don't have the time to think about what makes a flower grow, and I never give it a second thought to where the rivers flow. Oh yeah, and I ain't got time for nothing else.
You know what?
get punched for the love club. For the love club. In the old days there wasn't enough. The card games and ease with the bitter salt of blood. I was in by the 1 hour. My mother's love is choking me. I'm sick of words that hang above my head. What about the kid? It's time the kid got free. Free. It's time the kid got free. Go get punched for the love. For the love club. I joined the club and it's all on. There are fights for being my best friend, and the girls get the claws out. There's something about hanging out with the wicked kids. Take the pill, make it too real. The other day I forgot my old address. I'm sitting pretty on the throne. There's nothing more I want except to be alone. Be a part of the love club. Everything will glow for you. Go get punched for the love club. For the love club. Drop your chin and take yourself back home. Roll out your maps and papers. Find out your hiding places again. The only problem that I got with the club is how you're severed from the people who watched you grow up. When you're a member, go on your great adventure again.
Pour another cup. I kiss the wall down one knee. See me racked up, can't miss me. Jet black. Back, 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 back it up. Jet black. Stack, 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 stack it up. Jet black. Back, 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 back it up. Jet black. Stack, 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 stack it up. Fall back, nigga, you ain't got no cash, no cash. Your bitch gone, yeah, I took it and I smashed. No shame, girl, if you're feeling yourself. If you wanna get up, I might give a little help. If you wanna get up, I might give a little help. If you wanna get up, I might give a little help. Jet black, back, back it up, jet black. Stack it up, jet black. Back it up, jet black. Stack it up.
Can't keep me up. Can't keep me up. Hey, girl, you can't keep me up. Can't take no more of that nasty stuff. Can't keep me up. Can't keep me up. Hey, girl, you can't keep me up. Can't take no more of that nasty stuff.
Jet black. Back it up, jet black. Stack it up, jet black. Back it up, jet black. Stack it up.
Can't keep me up. Can't keep me up. Ay. Girl, you can't keep me up. Can't take no more of that nasty stuff. Can't keep me up. Can't keep me up. Ay. Girl, you can't keep me up. Can't take no more of that nasty stuff.
Jet black. Back it up, jet black. Stack it up, jet black. Back it up, jet black. Stack it up.
Can't keep me up. Can't keep me up. Can't keep me up. Can't keep me up.
It's everywhere I look, from Las Vegas to right here, under your dresser, right by your ear. It's creeping in sweetly, it's definitely here. There's nothing more deadly than a slow growing fear. Life was full and fruitful and you could take a real bite. The juice pouring well over your skin's delight. But the shadow it grows and takes the depth away, leaving broken down pieces to this priceless ballet. The shallower it grows, the shallower it grows, the fainter we go into the fade out line. The shallower it grows, the shallower it grows, the fainter we go into the deeper down. If we build all those bridges, don't watch them thin down to dust, or blow them voluntarily out of constant trust. The clock is ticking, its last couple of clocks, and there won't be a party with the weather in front. The shallower it grows, the shallower it grows, the fainter we go into the fade out line. The shallower it grows, the shallower it grows, the fainter we go into the fade out line. Heading deep down, we're sliding without noticing our own decline. Heading deep down, we're hanging on to sweet nothing's left behind. Deeper down. Deeper down. Deeper down. Voluntarily out of constant trust. The clock is ticking, its last couple of clocks, and there won't be a party with the weather in front. If we build all those bridges, don't watch them thin down to dust, or blow them voluntarily out of constant trust. The clock is ticking, its last couple of clocks, and there won't be a party with the weather in front. The shallower it grows, the shallower it grows, the fainter we go into the fade out line. The shallower it grows, the shallower it grows, the fainter we go into the fade out line. We are all plunging straight towards our own decline. Without noticing, we slide down, deeper down. The shadow grows without ever slowing down. We are heading straight into the fade out line. Deeper down.
I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body. I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body. I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body. I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body. I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body. I wanna rock you, 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 rock. Wanna rock you, rock you, rock you, rock you, rock you, rock you, rock you. I wanna rock you, 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 rock. Wanna rock you, rock you, rock you, rock you, rock you, rock you, rock. Wanna rock you, 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 rock. Wanna rock you, rock you, rock you, rock you, rock, 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 rock. I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body. I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body. I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock you, baby. You see me, I want you. Make a move before you lose your chance. You won't get the last dance. I'm not just a take home. I get what I get from as long as it's you I'm feeling. Don't come up to me if you're not what I need. I'm not here for your taking. Just trust me, take my hand, I'll get you to heaven. Can you handle that? I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body. I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body. I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body. I wanna rock you, baby. I wanna rock your body, body,
through the valleys of the wilderness in time, only to find out that you have love in places I can't describe. Yeah. I need you. It's the sunrise. I just wanted to let you know I love you. Don't ever let go, 'cause the sun don't shine when you're not around mine. And I could never
Flashes on matches, splashes of ashes, sink in the mattress. Tell me that you want it. I want to feel that you want it. I want to feel by the morning. I want to feel that you want it. Let me feel what you want.
So if a boy want to test you, tell him come, come. And if a man want to test you, tell him come, come. So if a boy want to test you, tell him come, come. And if a man want to test you, tell him come, come. What you waiting for? Put your back in it, just a little more. Throw your waist in it now. Turn your body up and work it hard and low. When you finish that, how when you go down low. What you waiting for? Put your back in it, just a little more. Throw your waist in it now. Turn your body up and work it hard and low. When you finish that. And it fills me up and it starts to shine. And I see it burn when you bring me sunlight. Is it all you need to feel this heat? To feel like everything's all that you dreamed? Is it all too much? Did you get enough? Does it set on fire all the things that you touch? And it fills me up and it starts to shine. And I see it burn when you bring me sunlight. And it fills me up and it starts to shine. And I see it burn when you bring me sunlight. Is it all you need to feel this heat? To feel like everything's all that you dreamed? Is it all too much? Did you get enough? Does it set on fire all the things that that you touch, and it fills me up, and it starts to shine, and I see it burn when you bring me sunlight, and it fills me up, and it starts to shine, and I see it burn when you bring me sunlight, and it's all you need to feel this heat, to feel like everything's all that you dreamed. And is it all too much? Did you get enough? Does it set on fire all the things that you touch? And it fills me up, and it starts to shine, and I see it burn when you bring me sunlight. Feel
brown, tight pants points hollering down. She was a black-haired beauty with big dark eyes and points all her own, sitting way up high. Way up far and high. Out past the cornfields where the winds got heavy. Out in the back seat of my '60 Chevy. Working on mysteries without any clues. Working on a night move. Trying to make some front page driving news. Working on a night move. Summertime. Sweet summertime. We were in love, oh no, far from. We weren't searching for some high in the sky song. We were just young and restless and bored, living by the sword. And we steal away every chance we could. Back room to alley or the trusty woods. I used her, she used me, but neither one cared. We were getting our share. Working on a night moon. Trying to lose an awkward teenage blues. Working on a night moon. I woke last night to the sound of thunder. How far off I sat and wondered. Started humming a song from 1962. Ain't it funny how the night moves? When you just don't seem to have as much to lose. Strange how the night moves. With autumn closing in.
back that feeling. Yeah. You know the one I'm talking about. That feeling that's been gone for way too long. Remember when the music felt so good? I don't know where we went wrong. Yeah. You know the one I'm talking about. That feeling that's been gone for way too long. Remember when the music felt so good? I don't know where we went wrong. Maybe we need to stop and let the music take control. Feeling that's been gone for way too long. Remember when the music felt so good? I don't know where we went wrong. We need to stop and let the music take control.
Chocolate candles, it's time to live it up. Oh, horse and carriage ride round the villa and rock chinchillas. Girl, I ain't going nowhere. Sit here and play cops and robbers down by the moonlight. Sunrise, it's time to go. Grab your phone, take some pictures. Love in a modern times. it up. Oh, horse and carriage ride round the villa and rock chinchillas. Girl, I ain't going nowhere. Sit here and play cops and robbers down by the moonlight. Sunrise, time to go. Grab your phone, take some pictures. Love in a modern time. It's time to live it up. Oh, you get something fine, unbelievable, and chocolate candles. It's time to live it up. Oh, matching shiny shoes, dressed like Thriller, and watch Godzilla. It's a lovely Sunday. It's a hidden like a big lobster, shrimp and pasta. See if it's where to call. Grab your phone, change your status. Love in modern
homies, we going out though. Me and my cronies, we blowing out though. Damn, I need this, you cannot judge me. Got some side thing that wanna fuck me. This my life, you say you don't love me. This my time, bitch, don't interrupt me. No, yeah, no, yeah. Had a few drinks, I hopped in the Uber. Swear to goddamn, yeah, I thought I knew ya. Belly of the beast, shit fat like Buddha. Think about how in the fuck did I lose ya? But I'm better off, yeah, I'm better off now. Oh, yeah. I ain't got no role models, I'ma down the whole bottle. I need to forget about you. No role models, I'ma down the whole bottle. I need to forget about you. Forget about you. Yeah, I'm about to glow up, walk up in this bitch just like they know us. Bring them bottles with the juice and soda. Bouncers don't give a fuck about the aromas. It's really me, man, fuck a persona. All on sofas, yeah, waking up in comas. I'ma down the whole bottle. I need to forget about you. Yeah, I ain't got no role models. I'ma down the whole bottle. I need to forget about you. Forget about you. Forget about you. Forget about
forget about you. Forget
BurnerPodcast.com.